HSE dedicated channel. This channel brings you all health, safety, environmental related updates, technical trainings, technical informations, all kind of technical training informations and trainings, which are all available in Play Store and also in videos. Still, you didn't subscribe it? Subscribe, share it, like it. Definitely, this HSE channel will give you a different outlook about the HSE. It's not in a book or in web pages. It's in real experiences speaks. That's it. So today we have a psychological, we can say psychosocial hazards. What are the psychosocial hazards for any workplaces? So here we are seeing so many hazards: mechanical hazards, physical hazards, chemical hazards. Then we have biological hazards: physical, chemical, biological, mechanical, electrical hazards. But the psychological hazards nowadays, so more focused psychosocial hazards that play a major role for all kinds of industries, not a small industry. So all kinds of industries, psychosocial hazards playing a major role, because nowadays everything automated. Peoples are focusing more hazards. They are all people's day-to-day life having so many problems. So that's why it's linked to the human behavior in the industry. That's important, how the human behavioral changes makes the major accidents incidents. You see, when the people driving the roads leads to accidents. Why so many road accidents? Because human error. There is a hazards of psychosocial hazards. That's why the people always a matter of how they are behaving. How they are behaving. Nowadays, we have a behavior-based safety approaches. Why the behavior-based safety approaches? Because people having the more psychological issues. Because of the more psychological issues, nowadays the companies are focusing behavior-based safety. So to change the unsafe behavior into safe behavior, unsafe condition into safe conditions. So the majority of nowadays the accidents are because of the human errors sometimes. So when the human error, how it's happening? Because of psychosocial hazards. The psychosocial hazards directly or indirectly affecting the working environments. That's why, because of psychosocial hazards, people doing the small mistakes, small human errors in the industries. So when they are doing the small mistakes, that is careless mistakes, it is called as a human error. So this human error contributing the major accidental cause. So that's why we are talking about the physical hazards, chemical hazards, biological hazards, mechanical, social hazards, but the psychological hazards is more into place. We have to think more about the psychological hazards, because the strange behaviors, the behavior of the person is changing the minute to minute, or we can say hour to hour. So when somebody is calling from outside world, one of their family members calling from outside the world, they are in trouble, or the family giving some pressure to that person, then the person is in a position to change his attitude. So when the call is coming from the family, or something happening from their family in their home country, or something happened to their friends, their relatives, so it's directly or indirectly affecting the working environment. So that's why these psychosocial hazards are important to protect the people, to know the psychological and social hazards, very important, and treating the psychosocial hazards also important. When you are treating the strange behavior, unsafe behavior of the people, then only you can create a safe environment. So the safe working environment depends upon the how you are handling the psychosocial hazards. It's very important. You know, the common psychosocial hazards. What are the common psychosocial hazards? One, work stress. So the work stress means continuously giving the so much stress to the one person. So he is giving the work, the manager or supervisor or foreman giving the more work to the concerned person. When giving the more work to the concerned person and more pressurizing the person, make the work stress. So that is so due to the work stress, it's a psychosocial hazards. Then second one is long hours. People normally work effectively 8 hours. But when you are asking them to work more than 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, what will happen? Their concentration totally diverted. Their concentration diverted, their activity may be changed, then human error will occur. So that's why reducing the working hours as 8 hours as per the international standards. But when you are keeping on pressurizing the people by giving the long hours work, definitely it will make the more pressurizing. So that's why long hours working is a psychosocial hazards. Sorry. So psychosocial hazards. Then long hours should be minimized. Third one, bullying and harassment. Normally in the work environment, there is a ego classes. There is a fight. So bullying and harassment is always there in the some of workplaces, not all the workplaces. So some of the workplaces, the ego classes, bullying, harassment to the junior people, harassment to the some sections. In that case, the psychosocial hazards are more. This is also psychosocial hazards. That's why this harassment should be avoided, and also bullying also needs to be avoided. Then poor management. We have seen work stress, long hours is a psychosocial hazard. Bullying and harassment is a psychosocial hazard, and we can have a poor management. If the management not properly managing the things, not giving the proper wages to proper work, not giving the equal work distribution, not managing the people well, not proper increment, proper salary, and the overall administration poorly done, in that case also psychosocial hazards will occur. Then unclear rules. If the rules is unclear also, psychosocial hazards, because people always looks others, what they are doing, what they are working that. If the rules is for one person, unbiased rules must be there. Biased rules means definitely there is a problem for that company. So unbiased rules must be there, but unclear rules also. Yeah, if the unclear rules in the industry leads to ego classes, fight, and human error, and it leads to accidents. Then job insecurity. So when the people always come for a job for security, job security purpose. If the job is not secure, then they always feel uncomfortable. So when they are feeling uncomfortable, definitely they will not work as like employer. So every individual need a permanent and secure job in that industry. If the job is not secured, means it's also psychosocial hazards. It leads to accidents. Every day there is a problem. Okay, tomorrow my job will gone. Tomorrow I don't have work in this industry, means he is somewhat insecure in their job. In that case, what he will do, he will not concentrate on work. When he is not concentrating on this work, then it will lead to accidents. So that's why it's a psychosocial hazards. Then unclear roles. If the helper doing supervisor work, supervisor doing helper work, or foreman is not capable of doing the supervisor's work. So in that unclear role, when it's unclear, means definitely it's a psychosocial hazards, because the people will always disturbed when the roles not clear, disturbed, and their mind always in a scattered mind. When a scattered, disturbed mind definitely leads to accidents. There is an ego, there is a fight, there is no proper administration in that. So unclear roles also psychosocial hazards. So these are then we can say seventh one is all kind of tensions, either in a work tension, family tension, or in a administration tension, or you can have gadgets, laptop, mobile, are not providing the proper facilities in that company or working environment. That also makes a tension. That tension also the psychosocial hazards. So these are the psychosocial hazards. Every company must take care of these hazards, because when you are not taking care of these hazards, it leads to major accidents. Because human behavior is the only major cause for most of the accidents. So by preventing, you want to prevent the accident, you have to care about the people. You have to care about the mind of the workers. So when you are reading the workers' mind, then you find out these kind of psychosocial hazards. When you are finding these psychosocial hazards in the working environment, whether you are working in the construction site, whether you are working in an oil and gas site, whether you are working in a manufacturing site, it's not a matter, but how you are dealing with the people is important. Nowadays, human resources is the one of the major potential thing to concentrate, because the peoples nowadays in industries getting minimized because of automation and unavailability of human. So that's why people nowadays looking for more automation. But the number of peoples are working getting reduced, but that people also making the accidents. Why? Because the because of the mechanical world, because of people more tensioned, more behavioral changes leads to accidents. You see, when you are in the driving, so many road accidents are happening. Why the road accident is happening? People mind changing. When they are driving time, somebody is speaking with their cell phone, mobile phone. So when somebody is in the other end talking something in a tension way, stress way, or any issues he concerned about that, then his concentration may gone when when he is in the road. Then it leads to accident. Same thing for any industry. Those are working. They are facing this psychosocial hazards. Definitely, it leads to accidents. So that is very important for psychosocial hazards for any safety officers, HSE professionals, HSE officers, EHS officers. Those are all must require to know this psychosocial hazards when they are going for inspections, when they are going for roundup, when they are monitoring in any kind of industry. You have to look into the people, what they are thinking, what their attitude, what their strange behavior, how they are behaving. Is there any change in this attitude? Is there any change behavior in that? Then only you have to watch and observe and give some training. That time only you can improve. Especially for new employees, it's definitely required. New employees always under stress, under panic because of new location, new environment, new people. So for construction industry and all, the new workers always hazard because they don't know anything. They maybe because of their attitude, accident will come. So that's why the psychosocial hazards is very important. So effects of psychosocial hazards. What are the effects of psychosocial hazards? As I said, stress and anxiety. So because of the psychosocial hazards, what will happen? Stress and anxiety will happen, depression will happen, and low productivity will come, and absenteeism will come. Then prevention and control. That's a different topic. Okay, so here effects of psychosocial hazards are the stress and anxiety. When you are keeping on giving the psychosocial hazards, it leads to stress, it leads to anxiety. So always stressful, BP increase. Then some of the body will respond in a different manner because of the effect of the psychosocial hazards. Then depression. People go always their tension and job insecurity, harassments, and working long hours, more than 12 hours, more than 16 hours. Then he go to the depression. So when go to the depression, he will not do much. He will not work too much. He is always in a depressed state, not interested for anything. He will not laugh. He will not laugh. He always be tension and depressed mode. That's why we want to eliminate these psychosocial hazards. And then low productivity. People facing these hazards, definitely that company will not give the more protection. There is a low productivity in the industry, either construction industry, oil and gas, manufacturing, it's not a matter. But the low productivity is there. Then absenteeism. When keeping on pressurizing the people through the psychosocial hazards, what people do, they will not come for our work. There is a more absenteeism. So when you are keeping on pushing the people, when keeping on giving the pressure to the people, when keeping on giving the stress to the people, what they will do? They will not come for work. So that is absenteeism. These are effects of psychosocial hazards. So effects of psychological hazards are one, stress and anxiety. Always stress and anxiety. Second one, depression. They will go depression. You know what are the impact of depression? That you can go and search it and do it. Get it. Depression is one of the major killing process of a person. Then low productivity. That all the employers must know if the psychosocial hazards is there, then definitely low productivity is there. If the absenteeism more, then there is a issue in that industry. You must know it. So that is the psychological hazards, psychosocial hazards impacting, making the absenteeism. So these are the effects of psychosocial hazards. Stress and anxiety, depression, low productivity, absenteeism. Okay, prevention and control. How we can prevent and control the psychosocial hazards? That's important. So, healthy work environment. You have to make a healthy work environment. When you are giving the proper healthy work environment, observing the people through the HSE officer, EHS officer, safety officer, they have to monitor. They have to see the people, whether they are comfortable. That everyday monitoring is important. So that's why we need a healthy work environment and fair workers. Working hours. There should be a fair working hours for the employees. Being a safety officers, HSE officer or EHS officer or safety managers, you have to check the working hours, because you should not think about this is HR, but it's directly affecting the industrial safety, directly affecting the HSE department or the safety department. That's why when the people working in your industry, you have to check whether they are working more than 8 hours or more than 12 hours. If they are working more than 12 hours, the safety department must watch and monitor and give the suggestion to reduce their time. So fair working hours make them free and fair working time. So that will make that will ease their working culture. That will make more stress relief, and they will work as enjoyable. So when you are keeping on giving the more work in a long time, that makes anxiety, that makes stress, that makes depression. So it's making fair working hours and anti-bullying policies. Sometimes people hit, bullying and harassment. That policy must be strict in your industry. There should be an anti-bullying policies in your industry that must be followed strictly. Then you have a clear communication. So clear communication is always important, being a HSE safety EHS. So when you are giving the clear communication, you can avoid so many complications in the industries. That's why either HSE or HR, it's not a matter. When you are dealing with the people, you have to give the clear communication. If the people don't know the language, use the translators. Use their own vernacular languages, their own local languages. If somebody don't know the English, give them some local language translators and ask them whether they understood not. That is important. That is called the clear communications. So that's why people, when you are giving the information to the employees, you have to give the clear communication. That clear communication must be with their own languages. That's important. When you are giving in a different languages, they didn't understand means what is the use of the training. So make sure whether which part in the world is not a matter, but when you are communicating, you have to communicate clearly with their own local languages, and whether they understood or not, that is important. So that will be the one of the tool for avoiding the psychosocial hazards. So that is the clear communication and supporting and training. So when you are HSE people or safety people or EHS people going for monitoring, going for inspection, so you have to see which part they are lacking or which problem they have. Support them. Is there any family issue? Is there any accommodation issue? Is there any psychological issue or any training issue? Support them, and giving the training will reduce the psychosocial hazards. So supporting and training, then you have to confidential reporting. Confidential reporting also one of the major way. When you are telling something to the people, you should not tell to everyone. When you are telling in front of others, some people will get depression, will get frustrated. People always think they want to maintain confidential information. They don't want to show it their mistakes in front of others. So in that case, in every industry, you have to deal with the employees with confidential reporting. Whatever confidential matter you want to discuss with the employees, you have to bring it in a room and talk to them in a separate cabin and not with others. Only that individual you can bring, and confidentially maintaining his files, maintaining his information is important. Leaking the information to everyone leads to pressurized stress. That's why the confidential reporting is important between the department or between the employees. So when it goes to the psychosocial hazards, these are the problems. As I said, common psychosocial hazards. After that, what will be the effect of psychosocial hazards? As we said, depression, then stress, anxiety, everything, low productivity. Then how we can prevent? We can prevent making the healthy working environment, working hours, then anti-bullying policies, and then clear communication, supporting and training, and confidential reporting. So these are the way you can minimize the psychosocial hazards. So these are the simple way of psychosocial hazards for any kind of industry. So when it goes to the psychosocial hazards, being a safety professionals, you have to read more behavior-based safety. BBS, behavior-based safety is a tool to observe these things. When you are well-versed or when you are learning the behavior-based safety, you can easily identify the strange characters of the people. Like as I said, work stress, long hours working, bullying, harassments, so job insecurity. These are the things the safety officers, you have to go and find out the strange feelings of the people. Being a HSE officer, being a safety officer, being a EH officer, safety professional, safety manager, safety inspector, you have to go to the working areas, observe the people mind, what they are doing, how they are doing, what their activity, what is their attitude. So when you are keeping on observing, then only you will come to know what is his problem. If he is not interested to work, you have to ask what will be his problem. Whether his problem is in his home or in his accommodation or his supervisor or his manager or his working environment, what will be the issue? Being a safety professional, you must find out these psychosocial hazards. When you are finding these issues, then only you can have the solutions. You give the support and training. You can give the more, communication, clear communication. This all makes them happy and make the people also comfortable in your industry. This is one form of behavior-based safety. People always be happy, and also accidents also gets minimized. Why the accident is happening? Human error. Why human error happening? Because of the psychosocial hazards. You can reduce the psychosocial hazards only by means of this kind of prevention and control measures. That will be the one of the tool for behavior-based safety approaches. So that is the end of the psychosocial hazards. Today's topic. Tomorrow we have a 20th 3 p.m. same 3 p.m. Indian time. NIBOSH IGC versus NIBOSH Diploma. There is a carrier guide. Whether we can do NIBOSH IGC or NIBOSH Diploma, which is good or which is good for our long career. That will be the career guidance tomorrow 3 p.m. Indian time. Don't miss it. Please watch it. Join us tomorrow 3 p.m. So thanks for watching. Thanks for viewing this one. Support this HSE Mindset channel. You can see the lot of HSE informations and trainings in the video session and Play Stores. Go and see the more information in that. You yourself enhance the HSE information. It will help you to improve your career growth. Thanks for watching. Support, like, share it and subscribe the channel. Thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow.